Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is COMETSA Broadcast Channel. Samtima on the line. I'm the CEO of COMETSA GOC International, Pty Limited. I want to conclude the week with a series, COMETSA Promise, and the theme today is what we call HAPINJALO, which is the COMETSA Spirit. Today is the 22nd of June 2018. The time to be exact is 17 hours 59 minutes. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to stay in touch with us by calling us at our office +27119749308. You are also welcome to send us an email at the call center at COMETSA-GOC.com. Call center at COMETSA-GOC.com. You are welcome to visit our website, and the website is COMETSA-GOC.com. I would like us to today talk a little bit about the era that we find ourselves in, and then talk about the comparison or the difference between the content marketing and the social media platform using our COMETSA Spirit, HAPINJALO concept, just to highlight to you that the people or the makers of great income are not necessarily the owners of the social media platform, but the owners of the content. Before I go into the HAPINJALO concept and what it means, I want to talk a little bit about the social media content, what makes it appeal, and how you can really make money out of it. Number one, your content has to be original. This means that you have to maintain your originality for the key participant in the social media space to continue following you. Whether you are posting on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, if you are not original with your ideas, it is going to be very difficult to continue appealing to your followers. This does not mean that you cannot curate other people's work. Even in the curating of other people's work, you have to be very much original in the way you do about it. For those who don't understand what curating is, let me explain. Curating means that you take other people's posting or other people's content and you distribute it to your social media network without changing its original nature or its originality. However, by doing that, you are actually identifying who you are and what you stand for and why it's important for you to want to curate that. And by so doing, then you actually servicing your social media network. And it's for that reason why people will follow you, because you are exposing them to a content that, to a certain extent, meets their needs. The next important aspect is the perspective that you bring in. You are who you are because of what you have gone through in your life, what you have done in your life, your worldview, and your cultural practices and traditional practices. So, in engaging with your social media or your stakeholders, your social media network and your stakeholders, you need to be very explicit in terms of what made you, how you were baked, if I may use that word. and what happened to you to be who you are, the world you have traveled. So your identity, your brand, your image always show up in your social media practice, even if you might be creating somebody's work. The next important point to keep in mind in this space is relevance. Whatever you are doing in your social media space, it needs to be relevant to the times you find yourself in. Because if you are not relevant, you are not going to appeal to people. And people are just not going to take you serious. That means that you need your stakeholder, you need to know and understand the persona of your stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders that you are trying to appeal to? And what is their makeup, their personality, their characteristics? What are their interests? What do they love? What do they like? How do they look like? Are they males, most of them? Where do they live? Which part of the world are they coming from? It's quite very, very important. Even the way you push the business of your organization. If I may use COMETSA as an example. We know very well that we were established as a development football club. But we've migrated into the corporate space. And in this corporate space, we're really very much working directly with the senior management, middle management, executives, people that have got a full mandate to impact on the business objectives of their organization. The other point that is very crucial is that everything we do in our lives, in our businesses, must always informed by the context. What makes you to do what you do? And in what context are you coming forward? And when you post something on social media or you promote something, what is the context? Keep in mind that the people that you are trying to address are not with you on a daily basis. They may be lost if you don't give them the description of the context. Like today, I want to talk to you about our COMETSA Spirit. The COMETSA Spirit is nothing else but the source of energy that gives us an oomph to move forward. And we have actually always titled it capital C as a COMETSA Spirit, but in principle, it is really addressing an acronym which we call HAPINJALO, HAPINJALO. And I will speak to that. And when we go into the social media, that is always in the background, in our background. And we give that as the source of our originality and what drives us. We want to inspire people and keep people always happy and have a meaning to life. So the context that in which we exist is really that of human capital development. And it is quite very, very important for us to understand that the happiness actually is a source of our energy. And hence the abbreviation itself, that sounds like it speaks to about happiness at all times, HAPINJALO. The other point which I've already hinted to is that you ought to be appealing to your stakeholders. You ought to be appealing to your clients, your community, your audience. And how you appeal to people is by really making sure, though, that what you do addresses issues that are uppermost in their life. And those issues could be problems, could be challenges, could be interests, could be dynamism in the society, could be politics, could be entertainment. Either way, you ought to be appealing to the people. And that's what makes you more relevant in the social media space. The next point that is very important is it's not enough to have a content. you ought to know how you package your content, and then of course, what language you use to deliver the content that you have packaged. For instance, your content might be packaged in a form of a program. It might be packaged in a form of an event. It might be packaged in a form of seminar, a workshop. It might also be packaged in the form of an article or a video or a picture. But the language you use, which is not necessarily words, needs to be the language that is understood by the audience that you are trying to address. So you use the language, it's either spoken language, written language, it could be pictures, it could be designs, it could be colors, ought to be speaking to the audience. There are certain designs that are not appropriate for business audience or for private audience. So the language is bigger than just spoken word. And lastly, the multiplicity. The social media space is a very dynamic space. It is constantly multiplying. You post something today, it must still be relevant 5 years down the line. In other words, it must multiply itself. It must be in such a way that people can multiply its impact by posting it and continuously sharing it with other people. Now let's see how original we have been in formulating what we call the COMETSA Spirit, in this case the so-called HAPINJALO, as a theme within our COMETSA Promise series. HAPINJALO, as I said, is an abbreviation. The first letter H stands for happiness. The letter A in the HAPINJALO stands for acceptance. The letter P stands for peace. The letter I stands for inclusion. The letter N stands for nurturing. The letter J stands for joy. The letter A stands for appreciation. The letter L stands for love. And lastly, the letter O stands for obedience. So if you look at all these terms or these words, they all contribute towards happiness in our existence. And we want to inspire the social media space with happiness at all times. Now, why is happiness important? Happiness is not something that happens by choice, by chance. It is a choice that we make to remain happy, and we decide to avoid certain situations in our lives that are very contaminating, that stops us from experiencing happy life. We all know what are the things that make us happy, and we need to strive to engage on those things. We know which are the things that make us unhappy, and we need to continue to avoiding them. And we want to take this in the social media space, use the social media platform, and maximize the impact that we are making. Whether we use Facebook, whether we use LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Google, Pinterest, you name it. At the end of the day, we are saying that the owners of the platforms are not necessarily making us who we are. They are providing a space on which we express ourselves, and we are the one who actually maximize the value creation and the value add through the content that is original, appealing, and is the right context. Letter A is about acceptance. All of us hate rejection. So, in the HAPINJALO COMETSA Spirit context, we expect all of us to work towards accepting who are the members of our organization or of our entities. So acceptance, we need to do the type of things that makes us acceptable to other people, and we have to make it an effort to accept others, because because we know that when people feel accepted, they are truly energized to make value add and contribute more to our growth. The letter P, peace. It is only in peaceful times that we maximize ourselves and multiply ourselves. And once again, peace is something that can be disturbed, and therefore it needs to be protected. And peace, in a small way, can be assured in families, in organizations, in between two people, and therefore should not be taken for granted that it will just exist by default. We need to create peaceful environments for us to enjoy our lives. Letter I is about inclusion. In whatever we do, we need to include every one of us. And inclusion means that every one of us must feel accommodated in the activities, in our existence, and the differences should not become a reason why we want not to include other people. The more different we are, the more we need to try very hard to make sure that no one of us feel excluded. The letter N is nurturing. Every relationship needs or require nurturing. It's like a small plant that you plant in a garden. If you don't water it and if you remove the weed, it will die. Therefore, nurturing is a precondition for growth. And for us to become a great nation, we need to nurture this nation. We need to do the type of things that makes us solid in the community of nations. And therefore, nurturing again, in the context of COMETSA Spirit, it is something that we strive to achieve or to practice. The outcome of all this is letter J, which is joy. When people are joyful, it tells you that something great is happening, and therefore they are expressing the appreciation of that by being joyful. Letter A is about appreciation. The more we feel appreciated, the more we want to do more. It's a character, an important one, to try to always appreciate people for who they are, for what they do, and for their contribution. Letter L, it's about love. So love for people is a precursor or is a precondition for any other type of love. If you find yourself struggling to love, it means you have a lot of work to do. It means there's a lot of things that happen to you in your life that actually blocked you from realizing that love goes with human nature. And where love does not exist, it must be sought. And lastly, obedience. We need to obey the rules. We need to obey leadership. We need to obey the norms and practices of the society. So we would like to share with you that over and above us being a business organization, we see ourselves as a key component of the societies of the world. And one big major contribution that we are making is COMETSA capital C, which is short known as COMETSA Spirit, and the brand name of COMETSA Spirit is HAPINJALO, which is an acronym for happiness, and the letter H, acceptance under letter A, peace under letter P, inclusion under letter I, nurturing under letter N, joy under letter J, appreciation under letter A, love under letter L, and lastly, obedience under letter O. That is the end of tonight's broadcast. Thank you very much once again. I hope we have inspired you. You look forward to the weekend. It has been a great week of sharing. We look forward to connect with you in the coming week as we continue sharing with you some of these philosophies, and we hope that it's a takeaway for you and you will thrive by applying some of these philosophies. Don't hesitate to contact us at 011-974-9308 or send us an email at callcenter@cometsa-goc.com or visit our website www.cometsa-goc.com and view some of the content on our website. You can also call us on our mobile number +2772 376 7503. That is 072 376 7503. I hope we have managed to inspire you and enlighten you in understanding that what makes social media space is the social or the content marketing, which is actually referring to the promotion of our ideas and our views. And the key thing here is that our views need to be very original. They need to be appealing to the people we are addressing. They must be in the right context, and they must be packaged in the language that is understood by our target audience. Thank you very much for listening. Good night. Enjoy the weekend, and we look forward to connecting with you in the coming week. Thank you for supporting the COMETSA broadcast channel.